Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crown and worship you. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crown and worship you. Oh, glorious God, we praise your name. We lay our crown and worship you. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. We lay our crowns and worship you. Oh, be lifted above all other gods. Jesus, we bow before your throne. We bow before.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to Something in Need for You. Good evening. Welcome to Something in Need for You. Something in Need for You. Wherever you are in any part of the world, this is our Monday evening broadcast. Something in Need for You. Please let me quickly encourage you, as I love to say, subscribe to our Impact Royal TV on YouTube. Tell your friends and family, people that you think this broadcast can be a blessing to subscribe. They can also share on your wall. You can share on your wall, on your platform, so that someone can pick something that can be of a blessing to that individual. So Something in Need for You is something that I do look at based on issues of life, my personal experience, my mistake, lessons to learn, how you can use that mistake to encourage other people, so that those coming behind will not make the same mistake as well. So I always believe there is something in need for someone to learn. So today I was to talk about 6 reasons why men are poor in their 40s. Why men are poor in their 40s. He said there's this general statement in Nigeria. I don't know if it's also something that is a bit westernized or global in this, in saying that a fool at 40 is a fool forever. A fool at 40, that is a fool forever. And that is very serious. That's very serious. I'm talking to you from a perspective of someone who is over 40. So you have to look at the fact that I must have gained a bit of experience in life, in mistakes that I made, things that I didn't do right, that if what I know now and I know it then, perhaps it would have been a different level. So you may think that I'm talking nonsense, but guess what? To you, it may look like nonsense, but I'm telling you from my own experience that if what I know now, I know it then, it would have been a different case. So if you do not want to make the same mistake, then you need to listen to me or encourage someone that you know that needs to listen, so that they're not going to make the same mistake again. You're not going to make the same mistake again. You see, you do not want to, you are at 40, that is the time that you need to wake up to reality of life. Reality of life. When you need to start to think of your pension, your old age, what do you fall back on? How are you going to survive? Do you still believe that the children will look after you at that, when you get older? Forgetting the fact that they too will start to face their own responsibility, their own challenges, their family to look after. And things are not getting easier, it's getting harder and difficult most times. And different dispensation with a different approach to life. Or do you want to wait until your children start asking you that what have you done with your youthful life, that you wasted your youthful life? I've seen someone who said emphatically that statement, that my father wasted his youthful life. He was talking from experience, he was talking from what he witnessed, he was talking from what is, what happens in his house. So do you want to wait until your children now say that to you, that you wasted your youthful life? If you're at 40, you have not been on property ladder to get a mortgage, or let's assume that you get your mortgage at 40, that means you're going to cost you until you get the age of 65 before you pay off the mortgage, unless miracles happens, that maybe that money just come from nowhere. And I don't believe that money come from nowhere, but we do know that miracle does happen. Somebody can choose to bless you and write off your mortgage. But let's take that aside, because that is not a way to plan life, thinking you are planning your life based on what others will do for you. And that will take me to the issue of responsibilities. Because what makes someone independent is about taking responsibility for themselves. You see, in your old age, your children will respect you when they know that you do not need to rely on them. So they will be so joyful to receive your call, even to come and pay you a visit. And as a matter of fact, if you are even in a position to be a blessing to them, they will be so excited. But when your life depends on what they can send, then you know that you are in serious mess if they choose not to send the money, or if one or two just disagree with the rest of them. I've seen situation where three children, they decided to say, okay, we'll be contributing money to maintain our mom, and then all of a sudden one decided to say, look, I'm not going to, because the two of them should be enough to send money, so I'm not going to send money. And now imagine the amount of money they will, the mother was expecting every month is now gone down, because only two that now be sending money. So the burden is on those two. So now imagine if it's only got one child, and that particular one child is the one that now said, I can't send any money because I've got my own life to live, I've got my own bills to pay, I've got things to do. And that's a message to someone today. If the Lord bless you, if you have the ability, the capability, the strength to have more than one children, you better go ahead and do it. One of my own regrets in life, which I have shared with some of my leaders, was the fact that I only have two children, two daughters. Not that I did not have the capability, I did not have, nothing was wrong with me, and medically. It was just something that stereotyped in my head, that I said to myself, I only want to have one child, so that I will give that child everything that money can buy. Everything that money can buy, that I will give the child. Because I come from, my mother have many children, my father have so many children, because it was, I come from a polygamous house. And I'm proud any day, any time to say that I come from a polygamous house, and I bless the name of the Lord that I do, because here I am today. I'm a blessing to that family. I'm a blessing to that family. So no regret whatsoever. No regret whatsoever and ever. If I come to this world again, I will say come to the same Ogunmefun family. So that gets settled. So, but the key issue is that I just decided to say, look, I just need one child. So I'm going to give that child everything that money can buy in terms of education, life, and everything that he or she will be outstanding. So I've got a daughter, and I started to pump money into her life. Considerable number of years between the first and the second. I didn't really want to have the second, but thank God that I did, and that is where I'm going. Thank God that I did, because that same second daughter happens to be my best friend now. Happens to be the one amongst the two that asks after me. Happens to be the one that if I want something to do something, she happens to be the one that I call upon. But just imagine I do not, and it was the first one that do not have your time, that care less about you, even if you stumble or somersault. So you can begin to see why our parents choose to have so many children, because they've seen the children as their own investment, as their own future, as their own life, as their own life. So responsibility, it is about you not dumping your worries on other people, because don't start to think that the way our parents dump their responsibility, they acted their role, their responsibility. They see us as their own pension. But do you think the children, the generations today, are going to do the same thing for you? If that is the way you're thinking, friends, you need to wake up to reality. You just need to wake up to reality. You need to wake up to reality. Unless God put your interest in the heart of those children, or God decided to give you one that is going to care so much about you, irrespective of situation, irrespective. But what will happen if they, if he or she is not economically buoyant, in other words, not financially sound, and he or she has got so much responsibility of ourselves to take care of, how are you going to survive? So you can say reason why you need to start to plan for your life if you are 40. So that's what I'm looking at. 6 reasons why men are poor in their 40. And this is about encouraging you in making decisions. I'm sure this message is for people that are less than 40. And if you have anyone all around you that is less than 40 or that is just around 40 that is still fooling around, then listen, and listen very good. 6 reasons why men are poor in their 40. I discover, as I've said to you, some of these things came as a result of my personal experience in life. I'm over 40, so you can imagine that I have gone through that. So that's what I'm sharing that with you. So the first reason is something that I discover from a statement made by my mother before she went to be with the Lord. And my mother went to be with the Lord now for over 20-something years. And she said, be very careful. Don't make girlfriend a wife. And don't go and make a wife girlfriend. Say, be very careful. So, in other words, when a man married wrongly, you are in a serious trouble. Serious trouble. So, if you marry someone or maintain a girlfriend who contributes nothing to your life besides sex, you will remain poor. If you live in this part of the world, it is designed for 2 people to work together. To work together. Put their resources together. Then you can do exploit. You can do great things. But if you're the only one that is carrying the burden, the financial burden of the family, and also there is expectation that you still have to do this, you have to do that. You discover. I went to a program yesterday, just like every man that were there, dinner for that, and a consultant, a psychiatric consultant, spoke about some of this issue, why men tends to die younger than women. And there's this also video that is going all around by this American comedian. Now, why men died before their wives. And you see, these are some of the reasons. Because you've overworked yourself, you worked yourself out. You married someone that is more dependent on you, no contribution whatsoever, no resources. There is nothing, absolutely nothing this person is contributing to your life than sex. You will soon realize in the journey of your life that you have wasted all your effort. And if you're not very careful, you will remain poor. Number 2 that I want to share with you, you can disagree with me. You understand? I'm not saying this from the authority or from the perspective of someone who has monopoly of knowledge. But I'm just sharing this with you, some of the things that I have come to understand in the journey of my life. Another thing that men needs to be very careful if you are in that age, that instead of re-wearing your old clothes, you continue to buy new ones, so that people don't know that you are broke, so that they don't. So haters don't say, "Oh, you are already broke. You're wearing the same thing." My brother, Do you need to dress to please someone? Do you? I don't think so. You are not a celebrity. You are not a superstar. That you need to be changing your clothes. Or if you see many people that on the TV presenter, the social, the celebrities, some of all these clothes that they wear, they change all the time. They wear them because they are helping the designer, the company to advertise. Some of those things are advertisement. They're helping them to advertise those things. So they know many of them do not pay for those clothes, and you are trying to emulate them. You are trying to follow them. You are trying to do what they do. Some of them, they get it free. They will just help the establishment, the company, to wear it so that they can promote it, because they know that they have millions of followers, and the moment they see it on them, that's what they're going to. Some of their followers would like to buy it, would like to wear it. So it's not costing them a dime. Not costing them a dime. So there is nothing wrong in you re-wearing your clothes. Wash it, iron it, starch it. When you get to the level of having so many clothes, then you will know that you are at that level. And can I say this to you? It's even get to a level in life that you start to dispose of so many of your clothes. That's what I'm doing at the moment now. I started to dispose, to get rid of so many of my clothes, and I discovered that I have wasted enormous amount of money to buy clothes and shoes, suit and kaftan, that there is no single room. My wardrobe is filled up, suitcases filled up, everywhere is filled up. And I was showing, my daughter all my shoes where I put it in the closet, and she was like, when are you going to open a shoe shop? And the thing is, some of these things I've not even wear some. Only God knows the last time I wore them. But the unfortunate thing is that I have a small leg. So many of my friends and my nephews are having bigger legs, so they couldn't wear it. And that is quite an unfortunate thing. So getting them ready, giving them away to charity, to make the house to be free. You can just imagine the amount of money wasted, spent on all those things that are not really required, because you want to, you want to be like, you want to measure up, you want to run your life like other people, you want to live like them, you want to do things like them. And if those money have been properly invested, put into other use, you can imagine the dividends I will have received on all those things. You can imagine what the turnout will be. You can just imagine. But if you think it's nonsense, well, fine. When you get there, you will realize. I hope it's not going to be late for you to understand this. There are reasons why men are poor at 40. Number 3, they buy a new car and rent. They buy a new car and rent and live in a rent house. When that amount of money that you use to buy a new car because you want to show off to the outsider that you have arrived, right? That money should have been used as deposit to get yourself on property ladder. It doesn't matter the change in the economy or whatever it is, property still retain values. Car never retain values. The moment you drive the car out of the forecourt and you want to drive it back again, you've already lost value. And you want to drive it back and tell them, oh, I changed my mind, so I want to sell the car. You've already lost between 3 to 10% value on the same car within an hour. Within an hour. So you can see that Buying a new car and living in a rented house is not something that really add up. It's not something that really add up. But it's something that you need to think about, particularly if you live in this part of the world. As long as your car is roadworthy. See, my little daughter said something. She said, a car, a ship, or a plane is designed to take you from one destination to another destination. So it doesn't matter how beautiful or good your car is, the purpose of the car is to take you from one point to another point. But when you arrive, when your situation change, when things get better for you tomorrow, of course, you can always change your car. I love cars. I know everyone closer to me knows that I love cars. Those days, but these days now I still have genuine interest for car, but it's not something that I'm crazy about any longer. As long as it's good, comfortable, every little thing that I need in it is in there to take me out wherever I need to go, I'm good with it. But I guess, you change with time. But these are some of the things that we need to begin to think. That when you're getting to a certain age, you need to start to think about your pension. Who looks after you? Who is going to care about you? Where do you going to get money from? How do you maintain yourself? These are some of the things that now at 40 is the time for you to begin to plan. Is it time for you to begin to work on those things? Otherwise, I'm sorry for you that you will regret. You will regret. And it will be the most serious regret of your life, that had I known. Or perhaps, and you cannot even claim that you do not have anyone to tell you because you're listening now. And you know there are people that you need to pass the message to so that they can listen. That this is coming from experience. And that is why this program is called Something in It for You. If there is something in it that you can pick now, pick it, work on it. Don't let it just go through one ear and flow out through the another. Start to think about it. No matter how much you love your children or the children love you, the time is going to come. They're going to have their responsibility. And let me tell you, friends, it's more expensive at old age to maintain. Old age is expensive to maintain. Very, very expensive to maintain. Oh, you're not using glasses now. What happens if you now start to use glasses? It costs money. You do eye test every 2 years. Then you start having an issue with arthritis, legs swelling up, kidney having issues. All different things now begins to happen to your body because this body has been used, has gone through serious stress, serious pressure, serious things have gone through. So the wear and tear now needs to begin to happen, that you now need to maintain the wear and tear. And that costs money. What about if you live in a country that do not have free medical health care? But thank God for United Kingdom that here we still have NHS. Even though NHS is struggling, but we still have, to some extent, that you can be treated. So how about in a country where you do not have? Do you know how many people that have gone before their time, that died before their time because of health issues that could have been easily dealt with if you have money. So start to think that buying a new car and renting a house or a old house is the most stupid things to do. Another thing that makes men to be poor at 40 is the fact that they are always They're always been seen at clubs, parties, buying expensive things because they want to belong. Because they want to belong. I want to belong syndrome. I want to belong syndrome is a major problem of you not getting out of where you are to where you need to be. The I want to belong syndrome can make your life wretched. Wait until when you blow, as they used to say in Nigeria, when you blow, then wait until that time. If that time has not come, you do not have to go to club. You do not have to go to expensive restaurants. You do not have to, you see people, maybe your friends, your age group going to Cubana and so many other high taste expenses, restaurants or clubhouse, buying drinks in 1 million naira, 2 million naira, doing all things like that, and you want to be like them. Friends, let me tell you this. When your time comes, you will do the same thing, but don't do it now. Let them have their own field day. Let them enjoy their own time. But when your time comes, when you blow, when you plan for your future, you will have all it takes. Enjoyment never go out of the system. So you will still be there to enjoy your own enjoyment. But don't eat your tomorrow now. Don't eat your tomorrow now. What you need to do is to plan for your tomorrow now, so that you have a better tomorrow. Your life will no longer depend on what other people can do for you. The most painful and hurting thing in life is for your life to depend on others. That they have to make decision. They need to call meeting. They need to decide whether to give you money or not to give you money. Whereas if you have your own money, nobody made that decision for you. That's why I always pray that God, don't put me in a situation that committee will now begin to make decision about what to do for him, what not to do for him. It's the most painful and hurting thing in someone's life. Very painful. Is that you don't need this. You are already old. Why do you need this for? Why do you need that for? No need for you to get that. No. They will start to run your life. They tend to think that they know what you need, what you do not need. And the whole game about that was the fact that because they do not want to give their money. This is basically what it's all about. But if you have your own resources, you do whatever you want to do. I have an uncle, blessed. He does what he wants to do. Nobody tell him what to do. He doesn't depend on any children to do whatever he wants to do. As a matter of fact, it's even the children that even depends on him sometimes. That is a life I want for myself. That you dictate, you tell them what you want. You tell them, you do what you want to do, because your life is not depending on what the children can give you. So start to think now. Number 5. One of the reasons that makes men to be full at 40 is that they cannot cooperate with their fellow friends to start business, but they can contribute money when there are maybe funeral, when there are someone in hospital, one of their friends is dying or is going through issues, so that or there's they are invited to occasion to come and share the occasion, so an occasion for them to show off, so show that they too they have arrived when they have not arrived anywhere. But tell them to contribute money for business, to form partnership with other people. They will not do it. You see, like there are times in life, most times in life, that you need to form partnership. So if you are worried about the other people, get lawyers involved. Let things be, legally worked out. You may have cash, the other person may have intellectual property, intellectual contribution. You have the physical card. So don't think that your cash will give you more advantage or percentage than the one that have the intellectual. You can work all things and you may have money, not have an idea. Where there's someone with an idea that knows what to do, doesn't have resources, can't you put those two things together and make a living? But you want to do it all alone. But how far have you gone? There's often a saying that if you want to go faster, go alone. But if you want to go longer, go with people. Go with people. So buying Asoebi on credit cannot make your life better. Buying Asoebi on credit cannot make your life better. Buy things on credit cannot make your life better. You will be enslaved all your life to the creditor until you pay off. And you see the story. There's also the story in the scripture. In 2 Kings chapter 4, you know the story of this man. He was a minister of God, a prophet. A sought after person, but he died. He was owing, and the creditor now came to come and take the two sons, that he left behind for the wife. And you can just imagine. Thank God that God intervened through the prophet, and the story changed. So, if you live your life in borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing and borrowing, how many people will now start to borrow you money when they know that you are not credit worthy? When they know that you have no integrity? You do not even borrow money to do business. You're borrowing money because you want to belong. You want to be like others. We want to be like others. That is not the way to go. You do not have to be like others. Be like what God wants you to be. Put your resources in a place that will yield dividends for you tomorrow. And finally, stop living a life of affirmation. Stop living a life of affirmation. And start to live a life of direction. Live a life of direction, not a life of affirmation. When you live a life of direction, when you get to where you're going, people know that you're going, they can see that you're going somewhere. The same people will give you affirmation. You don't need affirmation. The same people will come to you and say, oh, thank God for your life. Thank God for what you do. You are my mentor. You are my hero. You are my this. So they're not giving you affirmation because you follow the line of direction. You follow the line of direction. These days now, it doesn't take long before you become 40. Before you become 40. So don't spend your capital on a wasteful venture, on things that do not bring dividends. Don't. Start to think now, and that's where responsibility comes in. And one of the things I've discovered is that when things get wrong, they start to blame everyone all around them. They blame their parents, they blame the government, they blame the church, the pastor, they blame friends, they blame the wife, they blame the husband, blame the children. This time around, you need to blame yourself for not taking the practical steps. That you need to secure yourself and yourself first. So the first thing you need to think about is to be selfish and think about your tomorrow. Think about yourself. How you're going to look after yourself when you get older. So that your life will not going to be depending of what they're going to send you, the children are going to send you. If they do not send you, what will you do? So if at that time, they have their own challenges to go through, or they have their own family responsibilities and their salary earner, you cannot begin to imagine that you have failed to put something aside. If every month, as small, as little as 20-30 pounds, you can put them away. As small as little as 5 to 10,000 naira, you can put it away every month, and you do not allow situations, circumstances, trying to belong, like trying to be like other people, to make you to touch the money. You discover that in many years to come, you will be shocked the amount of money you will have saved. You will be shocked. So the whole essence of all this, beloved, is this: if you are at 40, or you are approaching 40, or you are already 40, let it be a wake-up call. Let it be a wake-up call. Don't make mistakes that we made. That's what I have come to share with you, in something in it for you today. Try to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Empire Royal TV. Come on, help your friend, help your brother, help. It costs you nothing. Tell somebody that, there's this program on Empire Royal TV that I want you to be listening to every Monday at 7 p.m. UK time. At 7 p.m. UK time. That I want you to be listening to that program. Something in it for you. You will leave the place with something that you will go away and start to think about how I can make my life much better. As I've said at the beginning, if what I know today, and I know those things in the past, I know those things in my 40, when I was approaching 40, or I have someone to tell me as I'm telling you now, let me be clear with you, I won't be on this level. There was a time that, in the 80s, I bought a car, 17,000 pounds, a car, under Prelude, 4 steering wheel. It just came. I bought it 17,000 pounds. Can I tell you something? Houses in Manchester then were going for around 10,000, 12,000 pounds to buy free. There's some houses in London too. They're not more than 20, 30,000 pounds to buy. And I bought a car 17,000 pounds. Just like they say in Nigeria, not be juju be this. Just imagine if I had invested that money in buying property. Just imagine that. I bought a house for 76,000 pounds. And I later sold the house over 300,000-400,000 pounds. The house today is worth over 700,000 to 800,000 pounds. That house. But what circumstances that made me to sell? And I wouldn't have. But circumstances made me then to sell, because there was a huge burden on me that that I need to resolve. So I had to sell it. So, but what I'm saying to you is, look at the equity on it. Compare with the car. Compare with the car. So, supposing if the 17,000 pounds then have used the money to buy, it could have bought me about 2 properties in Manchester at the time. But here I am today, telling you what to do. If you like, you can take it as rubbish or nonsense. There's only going to be one person who is going to regret, and that person has to be you. But don't join the class of people that will say we have no one to tell us. Now you have someone who has gone through the process telling you, sounding the alarm bell to wake up now. You do not have to live your life on other people. See, one of the things you discover back home is that the spirit of entitlement. Live your life about what others can do for you. It doesn't. You care less about what those people were going through. You do not know their income. You do not know their resources. You do not know what they're going through, and you continue to call them in this part of those living in diaspora, putting and pounding pressure on them, and you discover that people are having stroke, they are dying, cardiac arrest, emotional trouble, things happening to them, without realizing that you are one of the people that caused and hasten their death. And they also allow that to happen, because don't allow anyone to send you to grave before your time. Learn how to say no when you need to say no. If you can do it now. If you cannot do it, no one will kill you. When next you are able to do, the same people that saying negative things about you now, when you blow and you start to do for them, they will forget the negative things they said. They will even apologize. So wait until when you are in a position. So don't quicken your death before your time. Until such a time I come your way again. God bless you and enjoy the rest of the evening. My name is Dr. Tayo Ogunmefun.